Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hayes Kitchen. Thank you for joining me today. We're going back to our roots today. We're going to do something a little bit more cleaner. The last two recipes we've done have been a little bit more indulgent with our Sunday roast dinner, which hopefully you all watched. If you haven't, click down below and watch that one again. That's my Sunday treat, and so is the open pie with the creamy Stilton cheese sauce. So slightly more indulgent. Back to our roots today, nice and clean, simple cooking. We're going to do a seared fillet steak. We're going to do that on a mushroom stuffed with mixed quinoa, a little bit of breadcrumbs, some tomatoes glazed in balsamic vinegar, and some chives. We're going to do that on a bed of kale and sweet potato. We're going to finish this off with some lovely, lovely spring onions. We're going to crisp them off in the butter. They go all crispy on top. I'm going to serve that on top of the steak. So let's get cooking. Ingredients we've got some mushroom, we've got some cherry tomatoes, we've got some chives, we've got some Kerrygold butter, we've got some GF breadcrumbs, we've got some mixed quinoa, which are pre-cooked, okay? We've got some spring onions. Now this is great. If you just shred up a spring onion, put it into a bowl with iced water, and they'll curl up into little springlets like this, which are ideal just to crisp off. We've got some kale. We're just going to sweat that off in some butter. We've got our fillet steaks. Now use whatever steak you want. I'm choosing fillet today just because I fancy a fillet steak. We've got some sweet potato, and we've got a little bit of gluten-free flour, a stock cube, not a stock cube, but just a beef stock basically, a little bit of red wine, and that's it. All I've done is chop up the sweet potatoes, pop them into the pan. I'm just going to bring them up to the boil. In the second pan, we're going to light that up for your balsamic tomatoes. Such a simple, easy recipe. All I'm going to do is go in with a little bit of butter, not too much. Let that heat up. Your butter's bubbling away nicely there. And all we're going to go in with half your tomatoes. Just literally just chop them in half, chuck them in. And because this is going to go into the oven anyway, we don't really need to cook this too much. All we're going to do is just lightly sear them if you like. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. And that is literally all that's going to take. And all we're going to do is go with a little tiny bit of balsamic glaze. You see they just char off and got a nice little toasted black colour. Now into that, you're going to grab your chives, roughly cut them across. That should be enough. Now the light amount of sugar you get inside that balsamic vinegar is just going to slightly caramelise there, and that is good. Right, let's put these into the mushrooms, shall we? Right, so we're going to grab our two mushrooms. And we've got some of our quinoa. Now what we're going to do is, just literally, this is going to be a bit of a messy one. You're just going to press that around the edge. Grab yourself a tray. Now grab our sauce, and with your little cherry tomatoes, you're just going to lay them over the top, push them down. A few more of those over the top. The beauty is because the mushroom itself is such a high water content, all that's going to do is the water's going to release, it's going to go into the quinoa, keeping that nice and moist. The cherry tomato glaze is going to go back through the quinoa and just enrich it all. So all we're going to do is seal that off with a little bit of breadcrumbs just over the top. And that is good to go. So into the oven, 250 Celsius. Right, so these mushrooms are going to take about 10 minutes, so really we've got to get moving with this one to get everything right on time. So let's get our steaks in the go. Nice hot pan. We're going to literally just lay them straight down. Right, depending on how you like your steak, I like my fillet very rare, so I'm going to do 2 minutes either side. For the wife, she wants it 4 minutes either side, she likes it medium to well. Okay, so I'm literally going to flip that over now. Into that, you want to wait for the second side of the steak to slightly cook, and then go in with some butter. Move that around the pan, let the butter melt. And you're just going to lightly baste that over the steak. Now all that's helping doing is starting it cooking from underneath. You've got the heat in the pan. That butter's going to start even more of the process and cooking on top and keeping it nice and moist as well. So keep that going constantly. The reason you don't put that butter in there too soon is because it will just burn straight away and go almost like an acrid black colour. So you want to keep it that golden sort of syrupy colour. And afterwards we're going to use this stock to make our juice. Our jus. Right, using those hot oils, I'm just going to grab our spring onion. And you add those spring onions into that butter. Really looking for just literally a couple of minutes on those spring onions. Right, my first steak can come out. That one's done. Rest the steak, remember. Wrap it up in a piece of tin foil and leave that to rest for about 5 to 10 minutes. Grab yourself a piece of kitchen roll. Just lay those spring onions on there, just to dry out slightly. And that second steak, can come out to rest as well. Drain off the sweet potatoes. Add salt, butter. Right, keeping the juices from the pan, all those lovely beef juices in there. We're going to go in with a little bit of stock. Into that stock we're going to add a little bit of water. A little bit of red wine. See how that's starting to thicken up? A little bit of your flour. And that's done. Into a second pan, add your kale, a splash of water, and just leave that to sweat off. Right, so everything's done. Let's get serving up, shall we? Grab yourself a plate. I'm going to get myself a little pastry cutter, which I think I've used in one of my videos before. Straight in with your sweet potato. Push that down inside the dish. I'm just going to serve one of these up, otherwise I'm going to be here all day. So if you wonder where the second steak went, I'll serve that up after I finish filming. Right, so that goes in. Straight on with some of your curly kale. These lovely colours there. Important with kale, don't overcook it. Goes horrible. You want a little bit of crunch to it. And you also want to keep that green colour as well. Right, out with one of our mushrooms. And grab our spring onions. See how lovely and crisp they've gone. They've gone for that lovely little breadcrumb sort of topping. So onto that, I'm just going to slightly push that down. And plonk that straight in the middle and push down again. So you're pushing that down and squashing out all those flavours from the tomatoes. Slowly, just twist that and take off the green. Then we're going to go straight onto that with our steak. So that's looking pretty good. And then finally, we just want to top that off with a good helping of the spring onions that are just crispy and caramelised from the butter and the flavours of the steak coming through there as well. Right, grab a little bit of your sauce, and all we're going to do with that is just lightly drizzle that around. So there we have it, you've got yourself your fillet steak done with caramelised spring onions, going through to the bed of mushroom with balsamic cherry tomatoes and mixed quinoa and breadcrumbs, onto a base of kale and sweet potatoes, and finished off with a light red wine jus. Hope you like that one, guys. Any comments you want to leave them below. Go and check out my other videos if you like, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Cheers then, bye bye. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Haste Kitchen. This is the one you've all been nagging me for. Every Sunday I do a full-on family roast dinner. So I'm going to show you basically how to do that today. I've done another one of these videos in a channel called Mum's Eye View. Link is in the description box below. Click that, please go and watch it. I show you how to do a speed